So horizontal differences in horizontally in pressures actually is what creates wind. So air will locate from a high pressure to a low pressure horizontally. But let's go back and revisit, and this kind of makes me smile, go back and revisit the fact that we said vertically speaking, we said that as you go up in elevation, the pressure gets less. So if this is the Earth's surface, we generally have a high pressure down here, and the pressure gets less and less and less, and we have a low pressure up here. Okay, that's the vertical distribution of atmospheric pressure. And so if we apply what we know about air wanting to relocate from a high to a low pressure, basically then we have this pressure gradient force, PGF, directed from the Earth's surface in all directions outward. So that just makes me smile because it thinks we should have like an ongoing vertical wind. But we know that we don't. And well, the reason we don't is that that force is balanced by gravity. So left unbalanced, we definitely would have a vertical wind, but we know that doesn't happen. Sometimes we do, sometimes it's not entirely balanced, and we do get parcels of air that we know ascend vertically for various reasons. Especially if we are in the midst of if the atmosphere is very unstable, okay, then we definitely have our fair share of air relocating upwards vertically. But the name we put with that phenomenon of the upward pressure gradient force being balanced by gravity is called hydrostatic equilibrium. So this slide kind of summarizes all that. Hydrostatic equilibrium. And just to kind of, if this is my PGF, and I think you're going to see it in the next slide, pressure gradient force. Why? Because we have a high pressure all on the Earth's surface and a low pressure up there is balanced, and so I'm going to draw the same size of an arrow downward by the force of gravity. So it's a wash. And so these figures show that. So that is the pressure gradient force from high to low, because we know the air gets thinner as you go up in elevation, and this is the force of gravity. And so together we would call that hydrostatic equilibrium. And here's a similar slide. It basically says if we had a parcel of air, it's being acted upon by this pressure gradient force. There's a high pressure down here and a low pressure up there. Okay, and then it goes ahead and says on that same parcel of air, we have the force of gravity downward towards the Earth's center. And if it's balanced, it's at hydrostatic equilibrium.